All right. So the owner of the Bruins are the Jacobs family.
Yes.
And there was a bunch
They've had a lot to say during this process, too.
people crap on them, but they don't say nothing. I like that. And they go, why aren't they standing up and saying things?
Because they don't live here.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
They're in Buffalo. They'd rather be in Buffalo than here.
Take that, Boston.
So the guy who owns the Cavaliers, he lives in Detroit. He's like, I don't want to live in Cleveland. He's like, I'd rather live in Detroit. I'm the one guy. So, there's a hard cap in the NHL, and so you have to make your decisions very, very carefully. I heard a show this weekend. They were comparing the Swayman situation to that of Tom Brady and Mookie Betts.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Come on.
They were comparing it to, and then they said, well, he's not the same player.
Did they forget the rules? I guess not. I guess they did.
See, there's not.
You completely forgot.
You could have given conceivably Mookie Betts $1 billion if you wanted to.
Seriously.
There's no rules in the NHL. There's a hard cap. There's no way to finagle it. It's unfinagleable. Remember when Kovalchuk signed that? Kovalchuk signed a deal. It was like a 20-year deal for like $100 million, but they spread the money out. Maybe it was longer than that. So the AAV, average annual value, was like real low.
Right. He was making like $4 the last 3 years of the deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they put a stop to that. So the one sport that we're actually the only sport that we're really always looking at the cap is the NHL. That's the one sport because it's a hard cap and there's nothing you can do about it. So the money Swayman was getting, first of all, the value of a goaltender no one's positive. It's not like something that's like a number one starter or like the guy who's going to hit third in your lineup for the rest of his life. It's not as quantifiable as that. And also, there's only so much money to go around. So, Hardy, there was a lot of talk. Remember when Wallach and I were there for the big media day, they were talking about 64 million reasons why Swayman should have signed. Then Swayman's people said before that they had never offered us $64 million.
Right.
And so it was contentious. People thought he might get traded, and what happened?
Right. So Sweeney spoke yesterday, and he had a few things to say about the negotiation process.
I think I've been pretty consistent in saying that every deal has its own timeline. There's twists, turns, and such. You'd hope they'd be, a straight and narrow path, but it just doesn't always work out that way. And you have to be respectful and listen. I think that's part of this whole exercise of going through negotiations. You have to be willing to listen to what's important for the other party.
And for them, to come out, or Cam Neely to come out and say that he had 64 million reasons in order to, be on the ice and be out there playing. And for Swayman's side and Louis Gross, his agent, to say that number has never been thrown out there. Again, I think it's more posturing than anything else. I find it unbelievable that Neely would make that statement without it being out there. And sure enough, they end up signing a deal for just over $8 million a season. It works out to an AAV, as you've been talking about this morning, Wallach, 8.25.
Yep.
For 8 years.
8 years, $66 million.
So, yeah, we are holding out for an extra $2 million, essentially, is what he was the holdup.
Apparently, they had to come down. The Bruins did more moving than Swayman did, and you read all the reports out of Canada. Swayman wanted over 9. It was like 9.925, and then came down to 8.25 to get this done.
I think what's the no trade situation?
It was probably the no trade, and I think they look at the percentage of the salary cap too. And
but I'm asking, what's the no trade situation?
I don't know if that's been reported.
We do not.
No,
because I would imagine that's a big thing. Because if there is a no trade clause, which all these contracts do have. One thing they have in the NHL is no trade clauses like you wouldn't believe. And if they've got him for 8 years with a no trade, oh boy. Because imagine he's never been your full-time goalie. If he comes out and gets the yips, or he comes out and can't handle the load, there's you're stuck. Could 7 years of like a garbage goalie for 8 points. Like, you can't make any other moves. Go ahead, John.
Year 3 to 6 of the deal, Swayman has a full no movement clause.
Okay, so there you go.
But the first 2 years, should they want to trade him, that is a possibility.
So I think
that was probably a big compromise too.
Part of
by
the-
the two sides.
part of the
10-team trade list in year 7. I mean, it gets complicated.
Okay.
Sorry, Hardy.
Kevin Paul DuPont wrote about this too, and he talks about the percentages of the salary cap, and I think that's what the Bruins were hesitant to do, to go above some magic number. Is it 10%? Is it 11%? You compare it to the Tuukka Rask deal that he signed in 2013. That represented just over 10% of the salary cap. This Swayman deal is just under 10%. And if you're hesitant to compare Tuukka Rask to Jeremy Swayman or vice versa, in terms of games played, Rask had only played 6 more games than Swayman did when he signed that deal. I mean, in terms of what we know about this guy, and I've been the one saying it too, Fred, like, you really don't know if Swayman can be an everyday guy. And it is a different mindset, and it's a different workload when you're not sharing goaltending duties with Linus Ullmark. But in terms of the body of work to look at, it's about the same as you have with Tuukka Rask. And his...
Was that the right decision with Rask?
I believe it was.
Yep.
And his percentage of the salary cap
Maybe you
is
win a cup if you spent that money elsewhere. Go ahead.
Maybe. But you made it to a couple of cup finals with Rask, and people seem to want to dismiss that. I don't dismiss it. I don't dismiss going to the cup against
would have played
against the Blackhawks or the Blues. I really don't. I think you got to factor that into the success that you have with Tuukka Rask here. And for Jeremy Swayman to come in at a number percentage-wise less than what Tuukka Rask got of the salary cap, I think the Bruins look at it as a win. And if you want a goaltender here for the next 8 years, based on the body of work, about the same as what you have with Tuukka, I think it's a good deal.
Yeah, and Kevin Paul DuPont in that same article questions if there's going to be still a rift between the sides, and it would be why? What 8 years from now? Sure. I mean,
I don't think so.
Who cares?
I don't.
Probably.
I'm not seeing that.
Holy moly, that's
Hey!
too loud. That was too loud. I was going to take the call, but it was too much
Did
shenanigans.
you hang
in the
up on
background.
him just like that?
Yeah, but I don't think it was rude. It was just too loud. It was ear-piercing. I'm thinking of the listener.
Why don't you turn your headphones down there, Zoe? Or Wallach? Wallach's got to put his headphones up so loud because of the tumor.
Wallach, don't listen to him. What?
It's from all the years of age. It's not the tumor, man.
Yeah, man, I can't hear nothing. I feel vibration. Like you humming on it. Wow. What? Humming on the guitar.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh. That's on me. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
you got a
misunderstood.
dirty mind. I put a quarter in that bed. I don't have to move. Yeah.
Put a quarter in your ear and watch your teeth fold back.
Take out them dentures. Make it like a lady. Next time you're playing that trumpet, I want you to run full speed into the wall and knock them teeth out. Then come over here, and I'll give you an H.
Jed Baker lost his teeth, you know.
That's probably for
Next
real.
time you play
That's
the
right.
trumpet, I want you to run full speed into the wall. That seems like there's better ways of taking your teeth out.
Nah, that mean the instrument did it. You get a big fat lip. Big old fat lips. Come over here, sweetheart. I got the age. I got a spike.
Daddy got some candy for you.
It's here in my pocket. Man, that ain't no spike. Come on, Jack. You gotta at least clean that thing off. And you know I got hepatitis. I'm Jazz Wallach. My liver cashed, man. I'm Jazz Wallach. I'm deaf.
I'm just going to throw that in there. Don't have nothing
I
to
got a
do.
machine in my head that make the noise from the right ear go on the left ear too. I walk around in a circle chasing the sound. Goop, boop, 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 boop. Man, I can't figure out where they're coming from. I'm Jazz Watt. I got bumping the walls. Man, I don't know where you are while you yelling my name. I can't hear you. It sounds the same from my right and my left. I have no directional ability audio-wise.
Stereophonic sound don't mean nothing to me, Jack.
Yeah, man, save that money. Give it to me in mono.
Only need one headphone.
That's right. It's all the same. I got a scar, baby. Come over here, give a smooch. All right, very good. That's a lot of Jazz Walk. I'll tell you what, that Patriot game was really bad. That's why
Do we
there's
have
so
to go
much
back
Jazz
to that?
Wallach.
Oh, we did a little
there's
Swayman.
so
We did a little
much.
Jazz
We did
Wallach.
Swayman to kind of cleanse the palate.
We're
but
going to go
then
back to
in.
it. We got
But anyways,
Reese.
suffice it to say that it was much to do about nothing. And Kevin Paul DuPont does make it sound like there could be some rift between the two parties. And to that, I would say no.
Apparently, there was some hurry to get it done before today
Yeah.
because of salary cap reasons.
Yes.
Yeah, and then also, well, he's not gonna start obviously the first game,
Right.
but we'll see how much he can play during the regular season. He's a little guy too. It's amazing how thin the goaltenders are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Rask yesterday, and my son said, "Do you think they'll retire Rask's number?" And they probably will. Don't you think?
No.
I do. He's around. He's like around. He's never gone. He's at Buffs all the time. He's at Prest. He's at the Woodland.
He's one of the better
He's everywhere.
goaltenders in Bruins history.
I bet you they retire his number.
I mean, there was talk. I remember seeing Frank Saravalli, who works up in Canada, was projecting who might be elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in the next 10 years. He did this exercise last year, and Rask's name was on it.
As making it, like he thought he was going to make
as
it?
making it.
That's interesting.
So, yeah. I mean, he won a Vezina. He never won a cup. He was there for Game 7 in 2019. He was there for Game 6 in 2013.
I wonder.
I get for the most part, my default answer is going to be no for retiring any jersey. I think
At
it should be.
best.
I think it should be beyond question, beyond
Right.
reproach, special.
I would agree. He's a borderline case, which, if he's a borderline case, then no.
Are all the numbers retired by the Bruins home runs?
Yeah, I would think. Yes. Just thinking off the top of my head, yes.
You're very familiar with the Kraut line?
Yes, that was in the early, that was like Milt Schmidt and the boys,
Okay,
right?
so I will tell you real quick. We'll do this
Dick
exercise.
Clapper.
That's right. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
But guys like O'Reilly.
All right, so here,
Bork
Eddie
and
Shore,
Neely.
sure. Lionel Hitchman, sure. Bobby Orr, of course. Aubrey Ditt Clapper.
Yes.
Ditt, not Dick.
Already, D-I-T.
D-I-T Clapper. Phil Esposito.
Yep.
Cam Neely.
Yep.
Johnny Busick.
Yep.
Milt Schmidt.
Yep.
Rick. Now, here's where it gets Willie O'Ree, obviously, for the
Yes.
social implications.
Yes.
Rick Middleton, Terry O'Reilly.
O'Reilly was beloved here. He's not a Hall of Fame player, but it was not a surprise when they retired his number.
Okay, and then Ray Bork, obviously. So I will tell you that Rick Middleton and Terry O'Reilly are not considered all-time greats.
No, they're not.
So
They are considered captains. They're former captains. Middleton was a great scorer when he played here.
Yeah, when he played here.
Yes, and
Right.
this is late 70s, early 80s.
Sure, but I'm just saying that, is Rask any worse than those two?
No,
So I bet you they retire.
as a
Rask's
goaltender,
number.
no.
Right. I mean, obviously, it's a different thing. Especially Terry O'Reilly. Was Terry O'Reilly even that good?
Yes, I have to look at
606 career points in a 13-year career.
Another former captain, but it wasn't.
That
just
doesn't sound so crazy. I mean, 606 points in 13 years. Gretzky do that in 2. Go ahead.
They like it when you spend your whole career with one team, which Terry O'Reilly did.
No, he didn't. Oh, yeah, he did.
Yep.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, another former captain. He was one of those guys who dropped the gloves. His nickname was Taz. He
fought a lot, 2,000 penalty minutes.
Very well beloved. Over 200 penalty minutes in like 5 straight
Because
And then he was a coach.
years. Yep.
Because you got Marchand and you got Bergeron's numbers will be
That's
retired.
easy,
You have
yeah.
Chara's number will be retired from those teams.
Yep.
I would go with I'd cap it at those three.
And then it starts becoming a discussion.
Those three obviously deserve to be more than Rask. Rask is a
Yes.
far distant fourth on that
And do you
list.
want to put 4 from that era up? Maybe Rask, they won't retire Rask number because then you put 4 from that one era. They haven't done that before except for whenever those old guys played.
Yeah, the 20s, 30s,
Yeah,
and
maybe they
40s,
all played.
yeah.
Who knows? Who knows what happened back then? It's too far. It's too far in the past.
What about Tim Thomas?
No.
No.
Right. He didn't play here long enough. All right, we'll be back in just a moment with our friend.
Do people speak more glowingly about Tim Thomas
Yes,
or Tuukka Rask?
absolutely, Tim Thomas, certainly, because he won a cup for him, and that's always going to be what it is. Mike Reese is going to join us in just a moment. If you like that clip, check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. For more Bruins analysis and opinion, hit this playlist.